Record. So welcome to our webinar on multi-level group piano Simplified. We're so glad you could join us today. My name is Dorla Aparicio. I'm the author of the multi-level group piano method, Piano Pyramid, and Mindy is my co-author for the Piano Pyramid Explorers curriculum. And today we want to help you learn how to teach a multi-level group piano with confidence and with joy. And we want to make it as easy as possible.
So here's what we're going to be covering today. We are going to start with a live testimonial from Whitney Davis, who is a multi-level group piano teacher. Then we will be introducing Summer Storm. We're going to create our lesson plan together. We're going to play together and then have our Q&A.
Okay, so we are so glad to have, many of you are piano pyramid teachers, but Whitney has been with us for, I think, 2 years teaching the piano pyramid method, and we are so happy to have her here to tell us how has multi-level teaching impacted your studio. So welcome, Whitney.
Thank you, Dorla. Can you hear me, everyone? Okay. So I wrote some notes down to be really efficient with our time. So I will read a little bit because I wrote them. So the question was, how has multi-level teaching impacted my students in my studio? And I have to first say that before I chose to fully embrace Piano Pyramid, I had lots of stops and starts with expensive stops and starts. Just because I like to be in control, I like to make my own decisions. You know, I wanted to do what I thought was most important and create a well-rounded musician, all those things that we want. And I even tried Piano Pyramid, but I still had too many ideas just going into my head trying to work it out. Finally, at the end of my rope and tears with Mindy on the phone, I finally decided to fully embrace Piano Pyramid. And what I've discovered is that it still leaves room for what I think is important. And also I just kind of had to have my blinders on, and we get to it all in the Piano Pyramid multi-level teaching. I just have to stick with it. And so 4 quick things, how it's really changed my studio. And I'm not turning back, by the way. First, it allows me to reach and teach a lot more students, which is great for my business. And it's also great for just reaching the next generation. The second way that it's really impacted is logistically. It allows families to, the way I have things set up, to take advantage of flex scheduling, because I teach the same class multiple times a week. So whether they're sick or sports or travel, I don't care if it's a 1-week switch or a permanent switch, they can log in and take care of that themselves. It is fine with me. I just teach whoever shows up. And so it has taken a huge amount of stress off of losing students for all those reasons, and especially as they get older and busier. And then from a pedagogical perspective, it definitely has had that one-room schoolhouse effect, which I love, and we're just all learning from each other. The theory piece was a bit of a learning curve for me to teach everyone theory all at the same time. But now I absolutely love it because not only is there review for some students, there's new for others, and helps the youngers be curious about the next level or the next step. And then, of course, one of my favorite things about the whole multi-level approach is that it's a bit of a dangle the carrot effect where, oh, I want to play what you're playing. And they're motivated. And that's more natural when I don't like that when I feel like I'm pushing students, but there's this natural pull with peers that they want to keep striving for the next. And I love how that has affected my students. It's definitely affected the way I teach. It's made things so much simpler for me. And I can't believe how much I have my life back because I have fully embraced this. So I'm really grateful.
Thank you, Whitney, for sharing your experience. And I know how when you started, you were set in what you were doing and you just wanted to add a little bit to that. And for you to make a change, such a big change, it just makes us so happy because all the positive things that you just shared with us. So thank you again, Whitney.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so let's start working.
Sorry, this is me.
Yes, Mindy.
Well, I just stuck a link in the chat for everybody so you can go ahead and download your free ensemble that we'll be working through today. So this is Dorla's arrangement of Antonio Vivaldi's Summer that turns into quite a storm with this arrangement. It is going to engage all of your students, no matter what level they are at. And we're going to be using the score for the rest of the webinar. So go ahead and grab your copy. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Piano Pyramid to give you all a chance to print if you want to print the music so it's easier for you to play. If you're going to be reading your music digitally, just give you a chance to, download, upload, all of that stuff. So go ahead and take care of that. Piano Pyramid is a group piano teaching method designed to support students of various skill levels in a collaborative setting. The curriculum uses multi-level ensembles where students from beginner to early intermediate levels can participate in cohesive group lessons. With a structured approach, teachers can focus on delivering efficient, engaging instruction without needing to adapt for each student individually, thus saving time.
I got it.
Okay. And enabling a more enjoyable teaching experience. The method also maintains high musical standards, allowing group teachers or group students to reach similar learning milestones as they would in one-on-one lessons. One of Piano Pyramid's significant benefits is that it simplifies lesson planning, as Whitney was just saying, and allows teachers more personal time and provides meaningful group music making experiences. Teachers no longer need to conduct many private lessons within the group, but can instead lead dynamic, interactive sessions that encourage teamwork and musical exploration. Piano Pyramid also includes resources like the Piano Pyramid Academy, which is a one-time membership fee that provides ongoing training to teachers, including instructional videos, lesson plans, and exclusive access to curriculum materials. The overall goal of Piano Pyramid is to support teachers in building balanced careers where they foster a love for music among their students while enjoying a fulfilling professional and personal life.
Wonderful. Those of you that just came in, the link is in the chat for you to download the music. Mindy was just introducing everyone to Piano Pyramid to give you time to download your music. In the music, you will find that there's a lesson plan. There's also levels. And hope you all have a pencil there because we're going to need it working through and creating our lesson plan. Mindy, will you put the link in again on the chat? Thank you. Alrighty, so going to go. One of the first things we want to do when we're creating a lesson plan is to know the levels that we need for our students. And so you have those levels there in your download, and we're going to quickly mention them so you can see the hierarchy. But what I want you to remember is that this is a sight reading level for the student. If the student cannot do what it says, what we're going to go over right now, then they need to go to a lower level, okay? So prep pianist has alpha notes. They're beginner. They know nothing. They're going to play with one hand at a time, and they're going to play by rote. Even though the music you'll see there, prep pianist, is on the staff, but they're still going to learn it by rote, okay? They don't know how to read anything. It doesn't matter, okay? So that is prep pianist. If they can play by rote, know their letters, and follow instructions, then they're ready for that, okay?
So pianist 1 is going to build on these skills by removing the alpha notes. So they are going to be able to have skills in reading basic notes on the staff. They are going to be playing one hand at a time, but using both hands throughout a piece. So alternating hands enables them to start being able to know their notes in both the treble clef and the bass clef.
Recording.
So, oops. Okay. So, once they are in piano 2, we are assuming, and they need to know how to read all the notes on the treble and bass clef. And then they're playing hands together now. The left hand will probably just play a single note or play an interval of a fifth or maybe a second. But those of you that have the lesson, if it's blurry on the screen, you have it on your printout so you can see it more clearly. Yeah.
Page 2.
I think maybe mine is too small and that's why it looks blurry. But yeah, pianist 2, sometimes we think we can transfer a student to piano 2 because they've had a year of piano. But if they can't sight read whichever pianist 2 music that you have, then they should not be playing that, and you want to make it easier for them so they can quickly be able to move up to the next level.
Pianist 3 is going to be building again on pianist 2. They're going to be reading higher and lower on the staves, and will be having more complexity introduced into their left hand and right hand playing together.
Okay, I lost you there for a minute, but you're back. Okay, and then pianist 4 is our early intermediate level. So they're beginning to play the easy classical pieces in the original form, and that is what we have in Piano Pyramid. They know how to read all the notes on the staff, and they know how to read ledger notes, or at least figure them out. They can sight read their music easily, and so if you have a transfer student and you're wondering what level, have them sight read the different levels. And if you find that they get to pianist 3 and they cannot sight read it, then go lower and then go lower. And that just allows them time to maybe refresh or reinforce and then be able to move up. And with Piano Pyramid, they can move up to the next level anytime. Anytime. There's a smiley face type guide that we have. It's not in all the books, but I do have it inside the Academy. And then there's questions they ask themselves as to whether they are ready to move up or not, with smiley faces, and they'll know, oh, I need to work more on this in order to move to the next level. And sometimes you as a teacher will know, I think this student is ready. I'm going to give them a little push so they can go ahead and move up to the next level. So are there any questions about levels before we move on? Okay, no problem. So now that you have downloaded the music, and those of you that have come in just now, the link to download the music is in the chat. If you can't see that, it's a message from Mindy Rawlinson. If you don't see it, go ahead and Mindy will put it in again. But what I'd like everyone to do is to choose your pianist part. So choose prep pianist, pianist 1, pianist 2, pianist 3, or pianist 4. That's going to be the part you're going to work on today. And we have over 20 teachers here. That is wonderful. So, I mean, you choose. I hope everybody doesn't choose pianist 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, what, Mindy?
I was just going to say, hopefully we end up with like 3 or 4 in every single room.
Yeah.
Because we need everybody's expertise. Like, how are you going to teach this piece to that specific level? So we know everybody can play prep piano. So, but the interesting part for today will be going in there to looking at prep and saying, how would I teach this to a brand new student, even if this was their first week?
You know what would be good? If once you choose your part, put it in the chat. Just put prep 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll see, oh, we need more of a certain number. There we go, prep. I think that means pianist 3. And pianist 1, pianist 2, pianist 4. There we go.
See? Way to organize, people.
Yes. Prep, pianist 1. Beautiful. Some of you have just come in. Welcome. The download for the music is in the chat. Mindy, if you can put that in again, because now it's moving. Pianist 3, wonderful. I think we need more pianist 2, more pianist 4. Don't be scared. If you're going to, when we play together, if you're doing pianist 4, we won't be able to hear you unless you decide to lead the group. Okay? So you don't have to worry too much about it. There's a lot of octaves, and we're not going to go fast when we play it together. Okay. Thank you. Yes. I think we have at least 2 people for when we divide ourselves. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Now this is very important for us to be able to teach the piece, is to number the measures. And this is how we do it. I'm going to play the music, a recording. It's computer generated, so bear with me. We don't have a nice recording yet because we just made this last week.
But you will be able to hear all 5 parts from the computer. Yeah.
Right. And when the music starts, then I want you to start numbering the measures just of the part that you have chosen. Okay? Alrighty, there you have it, Summer Storm.
How many measures did y'all get? Good job. Yeah, there should be
35? Yeah.
35 measures. Good
Yeah.
job.
Okay. All right. So this is exactly what we do in class. We take those few minutes to listen so the students will have an idea of what they're going to be learning. And then they learn to number the measures, because that is how they're going to find themselves if they get lost. Okay. Now, we want to go into breakout rooms, and I want you to choose the one that matches the part that you chose. And in that breakout room, we want you to analyze your part and choose maybe a challenging part of the ensemble that you're going to make sure that you would teach to your student. Okay. Also notice any theory things that would come up. Okay. So when I open the breakout rooms, choose the one that matches your music. And then Whitney is going to be with those that chose pianist 2. So I wanted to have somebody there that you can ask questions like, how do we do this? Or is this right? You know, I don't want you to be not understanding what to do. And then Mindy and I will also be rotating between the other rooms to answer any of your questions, okay? So here we go. Oh, let me open these up. Can you choose? Okay, you're doing it. Great.
Hi, Kathy. You can take yourself off mute. We can chat. I think it might just be us.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Okay, so pianist 3.
Yeah.
What things jumped out at you as things that we would need to specifically focus on with our students at this level?
The first thing I would say is the rhythm going from right hand to left hand. Making
Right.
sure that first beat is fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Students, I think, tend to stop when they're switching hands in between within the same beat.
Mm-hmm.
The accents, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The change of octave.
Yeah, they're all over the place, aren't
Yep. Yeah.
they?
And then on the third page is that whole when they're switching from like I guess that first A all the way up to that higher A, that octave,
Mm-hmm.
making sure it's nice and fluid and being consistent, because a lot of times when those students have 4/8 notes, they tend to play it, like that break in between the beats.
Yeah.
What else?
Sarah, are you able to speak even if you're not got your camera on? We're just brainstorming things that we would talk about with our pianist 3s.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm just dealing with the toddler and trying to do lunch and get someone ready for a nap, so I'm not fully present.
Okay, no worries. We'll let you get back to that because that's.
But I did download the music.
Yay!
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Hi, Rosamond.
Hi, Mindy.
How are you?
Okay, good. Figure out the device thing.
You're doing
Anyway, I'm
great.
here.
Okay. Some other things that I was thinking about. Man, I've got some feedback.
Maybe we'll mute it. Helps.
The fingering in the left hand for the first line. Talking with my pianist 3s about why you would rotate fingers on the same note. trying to keep tension out of your hand. And then maybe the last chord, talk about arpeggio.
Can I ask? Normally I would do 1, 3 on that change fingering. That's what comes natural to me.
Yeah, so they're fingering suggestions. So if that's the way you would want to teach it, that would be fine.
Yeah, no, I just thought maybe there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, we just don't want them playing
Yeah,
one
no.
finger. One finger. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to go 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. But that's okay. There's no okay. I thought maybe there was a reason.
Okay. I'm gonna let you guys talk a little bit more. We've got a minute before we get back to the main session. I'm gonna go check in with the pianist ones.
Yeah. Thank you, Mindy.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So typically, I mean, the way I would introduce it probably is like finding the things that I think would stump my students, like even maybe the first ledger line note, and just make sure that students could walk themselves down if they don't recognize this as an A, that we would go through how that works and how you can find the ledger line. So that would sort of probably be where I might start with this one.
That's a good point. Yeah. I think those left-hand notes too, the left hand being on the A, B, C, D, E, that's going to be a new position, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And on that one, I would probably have them clap that rhythm in the 10 through 12, just to make sure they understood what that's going to feel like before they even try to take it to the keys.
Yeah, because everyone's going to miss that very first rest, aren't they?
Yes, and then
there's nothing harder in life than a rest on beat 1. I've never found anything harder to teach.
So true.
Okay, we're being called back to the main room, so I'm glad you guys had some great ideas going. So
are we all going to the main room, or you are?
We're all going back to the main room now.
Do we get there automatically, or do we have to?
I'm going to close the breakout room and see what happens. If it doesn't happen, then see if there's something that you can.
There's on the bottom right corner, there's a door picture that says leave. You can click.
Yeah, just make sure you leave the breakout room, not the call.
Okay, I think that's it.
I think it takes 60 seconds for everyone to quit their breakout room and get back to the main one. So we'll just be patient.
Well, I was in the middle of talking and it cut me off because I put a timer on. So, okay. So thank you. There was no one in Prep Pianist. So I mean, that's fine. That's not a problem. Just a minute here. Alrighty. So let's talk about the different levels. If somebody from, whoever is not afraid to just come on and talk about, there is no one in Prep Pianist, so I'll talk about Prep Pianist since everyone has that music. And one of the things that I would point out in the Prep Pianist is that they're going to stay in that same position that they are in for the scale that they're learning, okay? So that's going to be very important for them to know, okay, I'm going to stay in this position and I'm going to be able to play the keys. When I play finger 5, do you see all those repeated notes? That's going to be tricky for some of them because we don't want them to play like this. We want them to keep playing with a flexible hand. And so that's going to be challenging. They won't be able to do it right away. So don't get frustrated about it. But it's something that they can work on. They have that accent and then they keep playing. And also, if this is the first piece they play, they're probably not going to have that beautiful hand position that we want. And that is okay. The goal is to make the music, all of us together. And these things that we want them to do, we will continue to teaching them eventually. All right, Pianist 1. Who wants to share about Pianist 1? Don't be afraid.
Who was leading that discussion?
Yeah, I can speak up on that one.
Thanks, Lori.
So Andrea was super helpful with good ideas with this one. She pointed out that the first note being a ledger line note is going to be tricky for kids to find that first low A. So talking them through that. And then I forget who pointed out the rhythm at measure 10. I think that was Andrea as well. But that rhythm starting with the rest and then the T T T T ta T T T T, having them clap through that before they start playing it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And then, yeah, the other thing we noticed was that A minor 5-finger left hand position might be a new position. Normally we're starting in the C position, so that's a new place to put our hands.
Yes, beautiful. All important, all important. Okay. Pianist 2. Thank you, Lori.
We were with Whitney and we talked about 3 key things. One, about the microbeats, so subdividing those 8th notes and helping the kids really feel that. 2, maybe playing the hands separately so that they could see how the notes in both the right and the left hand step down together. And then 3, emphasizing those beats to help themselves and everyone else really feel that downbeat.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, Pianist 3.
I guess I can go for that because
Okay.
I started with Mindy, and then the first thing we noticed is well, Mindy pointed out is that the finger changing for that repeated note, and then we all 3 of us kind of said we would use different fingering that's written and possibly let them try the two different fingerings. We were talking about I would use 3 2 1, whereas here it's 1 2 3. Maybe they can try both of them and see which one they're more comfortable with. Also the rhythm going from the right hand to the left hand, that split beat between the 2 hands. Some of the suggestions was that obviously having them tap on the table, having them tap on their lap. And one fun suggestion is also to have one student play the right hand while they tap. So each student taking one note, and then obviously taking note of all the different octaves. There's a lot of movement happening in Pianist 3.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kathy.
Welcome.
Pianist 4. When I came into your room, you guys had already figured it all out. So who would like to share?
I can share. We started by identifying the trickiest part, talking about measures 21 through 28 and which little scale there is different than the others. So the third one in that series. Another thing I was just noticing too was I love that all the parts have accented notes. So that's something they could all identify with and all practice with, and let them know I'm all listening. I'm listening for them to all do the accents. But yeah, this looks great. Thanks.
Thank you, Melanie. All righty. So
I have something, Dorla.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Mindy.
I was interested that nobody called out measure 5. How do you coach your students through fermatas? It'll be different for some people, especially the younger kids. But, if you focus it to the younger kids who may not have had a fermata before, it'll be great review for the older students too.
great way to introduce conductors too. You can have one student at a time, even pretend to be the conductor and begin
Love
that.
it.
Great
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. And we have several rests also, especially before, at measure 10, everybody has rest there, but in a different way. And then to start that measure 10 with the rest, that's going to be tricky. But everyone, well, not everyone has it. Some thinks, yeah, everybody.
Everybody has it.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking about things I don't remember that I wrote on here. Okay. All righty. So let's move on to the lesson plan. And you have this in your printout. I know you can't see it that well here. But we wanted to go over the lesson plan. So those of you that are new to multi-level teaching can see exactly how we go through the lesson plan and think about it. And it makes it just easy to go through it and cover most of what we plan. You know, that's always tricky to cover your whole lesson plan, but having the plan and knowing which parts you need to cover is very important. Mindy, go ahead and talk to us about the focus.
Okay, so you can see in the tan box in the left part of the screen, it says focus for the lesson. If you can't see that, it's going to be gray on your printout. But we like to have foci. Is that how you say the plural? The foci or foci? Anyway, we'll have multiple things that we focus on in a lesson. Scales is one, and then Dorla's left some bullet points for us to think about what else would we use as our focus for this particular piece, introducing this lesson. Things that you may consider putting on those bullet points would be the minor tonality. Kids love playing in minor, and I think it's always great to take an opportunity to point out the differences between those. Accents, everybody made note of those accents. That definitely would be something that they could experience as a group together. And then dynamics. This is ultimately, when we get it all learned and ready to perform, would be quite fast and quite loud. But do we want to address the dynamics as we introduce the piece right now, or do we want to add those in later?
Okay.
Sorry, and then we hope that students will always follow your directions and keep a steady beat. I can't read the last one. I don't want to.
Starting and ending together.
Starting and ending together. Yes, that too.
Yes. Those are always goals that we have when we have a group playing. The next box is materials needed for this week or for this lesson. We don't need to review those. Those are obvious. What I want to do is go over each part of the lesson plan in order. You see they're numbered, and we kind of give you a time limit that works for us. That's always going to be flexible depending on your class, depending on the students, and depending on the piece that you are learning to play. So the first thing I like to do is to play scales. When the students come in, they know to set up their books at the piano and look for their scales. That's the first thing we're going to play. I like to do that because I want my kids to start making music from the beginning. Those that start coming in late, they know they need to do the same, open their book and get ready to continue with us working on scales. We'll be working on the A minor scale for this lesson. And so the important thing, the beginners will be playing 5-finger pattern. Pianist 1 and 2 will be playing 1-octave scale, and pianist 3 and 4 will be playing a 2-octave scale. Now, one way to do that in the very first class is they will work on it, and I allow them to work it out loudly. They play it, figure it out. I'm walking around, making sure everyone is doing it correctly. And then to hear them individually, we do like a chain. So an unbroken chain. So Mary, you start. As soon as Mary ends, then Peter's going to continue. Then Maria is going to, and we do that way, and I can hear everybody. I'm not using a metronome yet because it's the first day. But as we get used to playing scales, then I make it more challenging for them, adding music, adding metronome, and then playing all of us together. This part of the class is important for us to hear the tonality. We're always going to play in the scale that our song, our piece is in. Also good for fingering. We're learning about fingering, those that have to go under and over. It's a beautiful time to work on technique. I know it's one of those myths that you can't work on technique in a group lesson, but those of you that teach in group know that you can. You can do anything that you want. And this special time right here, I like to do different technique things with our scales to teach the students. Then I asked them to move away from the piano to go to section number 2, and we go to our bean bags, or we go to a table, or sit on the floor, and we work on theory. So all the things that you mentioned that we would do, that you found in the piece, are things that we can go over in a learning theory, like the accents, or learning about tonality, or the scale, or eighth notes, octaves, all of those things. You can choose. I like to choose 3 things that I can put one on top of the other so that I can talk to everyone at the same time. So for the older students, it will be a review while I talk to the younger ones, and then we go from there. You also have fermata, you have ritardando, we have the arpeggio at the end. If you don't cover it in the theory, you can cover it when we're all playing together also. Then it's time to introduce the piece. And just like we did beforehand, I played the piece and you number the measures. That's how I begin to introduce the piece. And then I will play each level's part. I'm not going to have all 5 levels. I think it's happened once in the 5 years that I've been doing this. I usually have a lot of pianist 1s or a lot of pianist 1 and 2. So it's not going to take, you're not going to have to play all 5 parts. So let's pretend our class has pianist 4 and pianist 2 and prep pianist. So I'm going to play prep pianist first, and then I ask them to go and sight read with their headphones on. Everybody else is following the score with their finger. Then I have pianist 2. I play their part. Prep pianist is also following along, even though it's not their part. And then they move to their piano, put their headphones on, and try to sight read. And then my prep pianist, depending on the song, I'll play for it, or maybe I'll just ask them to come to my central piano, and I will show them how to play it. I will discuss those challenges in the piece, just like we talked about in the breakout rooms. And then I will ask them to go, I'll ask them to play a little bit of it for me on my piano so I can help them know what to do when they get to their piano. And then I ask them to go play at their piano with headphones on. Now I'm going to call up pianist 4 that I had and do the same thing at my piano. And then I'm going to call up pianist 2, same thing at my piano. Now everyone has had a time with me as a group, and now I will walk around the room, make sure everyone is working on their part. If they finished beforehand, they can work on their theory or anything else that I would have for them to work on. And so that is it for those 3 parts: introduction to a new piece, leveled instruction, and individual practice. It's all happening at the same time. Then I will ask them to leave their headphones on, and I will play pianist 4. They can hear me over their headphones, but I want them to play their part so they can hear themselves and hear me. If that goes well, sometimes it won't, and we'll do it again. But if it goes well, I'll ask them to take their headphones off, and they will play out loud with me, and it will be chaotic. Maybe we'll only get to do 4 measures. Maybe we'll get to do 8, and that is okay. Because we have time during the semester to come back and keep working on it together and separately. All of that is built into the curriculum. And that is it for the lesson time. If you have time, if you have a 60-minute lesson, then you end with a game that will review the theory concepts that we learned for this day. Now, before we play together, I'm going to ask Mindy to talk about dynamics and how she's been working on dynamics in her class.
Okay, so this could have a really fun application to Summer Storm, but I've noticed that as I prepare my students for class parties at the end of each semester, they don't innately remember to play their dynamics as part of the polishing for the piece. So this semester I decided we were going to work to incorporate dynamics right from the very beginning. So we've started creating these heat maps. Each student is going to choose one color for each dynamic marking that they have in the piece. And then instead of just circling like a mezzo forte, they're going to color all of the space in between the treble and the bass, just lightly shade it in for all of the measures that dynamic applies to. And then when they have a new dynamic marking, they change to a different color. They can all use their own colors. I want them to be able to see it and know like what parts are going to be quiet, what parts are going to be loud, and then they're more likely to practice that way at home too, instead of being like depending on me to remember the dynamics when we play together in class and then following me. So you can see the student on the left has got red for her forte and purple for her piano sections. And that was on Sonatina in C. And then this one over here on the right, through tinted windows, we've got 3 different colors. Our mezzo piano is red, our mezzo forte is orange, our piano is yellow. So we've been having a lot of fun and great success with this method.
Okay, teachers, it's time to play together. And the way that we're going to do this is that everybody needs to be on mute. And I hope you're by a piano. I know many of you are not like me. This is the room where my computer is, and I don't have a piano here. But you can pretend to play. And this is an example of how in 2020, I know if you were doing group piano, this is how we were able to play together. Of course, we would ask our students to put the camera, their device a certain way so we could see their hands. And then I could tell what was going on. So what's going to happen is that you're going to hear Mindy play. And you're going to be on mute and you're playing with her as she plays, okay? When you're done with that, I'm going to ask for someone else to lead on a different part. And that is the way that I could tell how they were doing with rhythm, how they were doing with their dynamics, etc. So Mindy, tell us what else you would like us to pay attention to.
Okay. I will be playing pianist 4 on this one, so you can play whatever other part you were working on. When we get to measure 5 for that fermata, I would like to double the value of that measure, so we will hold for 6 beats at that point. And I will call out measures as we go. Yes, Dorla.
Did you say you're not repeating?
Oh, I did not say that. We're not taking the repeat. We're just going to fly all the way through it. Okay. So because this is also a sight read for many of us, we're going to go slower than performance speed. So not as fast as the recording that Dorla shared with us. We'll go 1, 2, 3, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, keep holding, rest. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, sorry, 19, 20, 21, 24, sight reading, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
Okay, how did that go for everyone?
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I loved getting to be a student and picture what it's like when my students say, oh, if I miss a measure, I know how to just find it again and jump right back in. And it was like, oh, it works. It's so much fun.
Yes, yes. Perfect. It would be really fun if someone would volunteer to play prep pianist and everybody follow the beat of the, you'll have to say the measures as you play, but play prep pianist. Would somebody want to do that?
None of us numbered our measures on prep because none of us said we were going to analyze it.
I can do it. I have it memorized. I have it numbered.
Oh, thanks,
Okay.
Carol.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, count us in and you'll say the measures and we'll.
Okay. 1, ready, play. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep waiting. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, down to 29, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
Okay, thank you, Carol.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
thank you. All righty, we are at the end of our webinar, and we wanted to leave a few minutes we have left for any questions that you have about teaching multi-level or what is the biggest challenge you have, just answering whatever you need. Well, we hope we can answer. And you can just unmute yourself, or if you want to put it in the chat, whatever works for you is fine.
So I do have one question when you have a bunch of people working theory. I sometimes feel like I have to put a pause and just let me look at everybody's theory really carefully for a minute because it's in the book. They can't hand it in and have me hand it in later. Do you have students grade each other? Is there a better solution than just everybody halt? I need to see what you wrote for a minute.
What I do is when you're done with your theory, come to me and I'll check it. And then you go to your piano. So they'll line up, all 8 of them, And just quickly, I'll just look at it, and I mean, it's easy theory for teachers, so I can glance at it quickly. I don't know, Mindy, what do you do?
Well, I just had this exact problem yesterday, Carol. And it was because I was trying to work on some accidentals with my pianist 4 and my pianist 1 and preps were like ready to pick their nose in the corner. So I had my pianist 1, I said, can you go over and check his and see if he got them all right? And that bought me a few more minutes.
Okay. Does that help you any, Carol? I hope so.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
So Rosamond says, I realize it's difficult to keep the pulse because I was speeding too. Oh, yes. That's one good thing of saying the measures. It helps us as teachers keep that beat, and the students also. I always say we have to be saying something when we're playing together. If you can say it, if you can sing it, you're going to stay together, definitely.
I have
Anna
a
Marie.
question.
Oh, yes.
Well, I have a real problem with my beginners, like the prep pianists. They have a real problem hearing that their pulse is the same as everyone's, but they have a problem hearing that they're only playing quarter notes. What we know. Okay. So to keep them on track, I'm like, I don't want to be yelling. One, two, So I'm not quite sure if you have ideas just to help them while everyone else keeps going at the same time.
Do you have a bird?
I do. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure it was a bird.
It is a bird, yes.
So like in this song, Summer Storm, they're playing A. When they come to my piano and I teach them how to play it, I make my prep pianist sing. A, 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 and we count how many A's was that? I don't know. Is it 9? Or
yes.
And so when they are playing on their own with their headphones, or when they're playing with the group, I will sing with them, or I'll ask them to say it, but I want them to have this movement in their body to be able to keep the pulse. But I teach it to them that way. And then I don't have to be screaming at them because there's too many things to be screaming at once. I don't know if that will help.
I think that's it. I think that they need to hear it more before they play with the group, but I'm not quite sure how to handle that.
Well, they have the practice video and the audio that you can share with them. Well,
in their method.
Caroline, are you in the membership?
Yes.
Okay. So you know where to find that. If you don't, let me know. Oh, okay.
Okay.
We have practice videos and the audio that you can send home for them to practice with. Those of you,
I didn't realize I could access that. Okay.
Those of you that are not members, you have access to the practice videos also. If you've bought like the curriculum before, when we would sell it out of the membership, you still have access to that. You just have to ask for it, okay? And that will help also if they listen to it at home. Yeah.
Anna Marie wanted to know about an accountability group, and
yes.
I would say use the Facebook group. Let us all be accountable to each other there.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone else wants to join a separate accountability group, we're not going to stop you. That's a great idea.
It is a great idea. Yeah. But Facebook is where I normally put everything. I wish we had one on the website so we won't be distracted on Facebook. I know how distracting that can be. But it's a great idea, Anna Marie. Great idea.
I'm sorry, I missed the answer to my question because the repair guy came, of course, right at that second.
We were just saying, oh, sorry. I was just saying we can use the Facebook group as accountability to hold each other accountable. If we can state goals and just, know that that's how we're going to use that group, we can turn it into more of that. Or Carol wants to be part of your accountability group. Y'all can reach out to each other and form groups however is going to be supportive for you.
Okay. I'll put it in the Facebook group. Is that okay? And then
Oh,
we'll
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Kathy, you were going to say something? Okay.
Well, thank you.
Wait, oh, somebody was asking if I have them number every measure. Yes. We have one piece that has 72 measures. Yeah. Every single one. Okay. Would anyone be
I
interested
do have I do have a
Yes.
question, Dora. So
Go
when
ahead.
you have a prep student coming in for the first day, there's a lot of stuff that you got to teach them, like measures and all
Mm-hmm.
that. How do you fit that in the 45 minutes? Because you got to teach them all the stuff that everybody else already knows.
No,
Like I'm used to
no.
teaching group at all levels. So
No, I'm not going to teach them everything everybody else knows. I'm going to label their piano with the notes that they have to play for the song we're learning
yeah,
that day. And then when we play the scale, they're going to be in that position already.
right.
Then when we move away from the piano to number the measures, all my other kids, if they've been
Can do
with
it on
me
their own.
before, they'll know and they can know, and then I'll work with the new one. If everybody's new and then I just show them. I just put
Okay.
my iPad up and I say, this is a box. This is called a measure. See all these boxes? And we're going to put numbers like this. And I just show everybody. And
Okay.
I tell them as soon as the music starts, you do that. And then I can walk around and help them. And that's it.
Okay. So you don't teach measures necessarily because the other
Nope.
ones already know what a measure is. Okay.
Nope.
Got
I
it.
just say, this is
I
this
think
little box. We call it a measure. You can put a number in
that's
it.
it.
Yeah. And then
That's it.
eventually
Okay.
in their theory, they're going to learn what a measure is and how it works and all
Right.
that. But that's not
Yeah.
important to play music together.
Okay. Yeah, I think I
Great
found that
question.
trap of I think I found that trap of I got to teach them before they actually do it. So, okay. Thank
Yes.
you.
We
Yeah,
do
teach
that
them,
with private lessons. Yeah.
Yeah.
teach them
Yeah.
by rote. Focus on
Mhm.
teaching by rote, because everything
Okay.
else will come.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay. I left it. Okay. I lost the volume. Do you have? Okay.
Good.
I think we covered everyone's questions, unless there's not on the chat and anyone else wants to unmute and ask. All right. It's 2:03. Thank you, everyone. I loved having you here, so many of you. And I want you to know that you can email me or you can email Mindy, even though my email is on all the emails that we send to you. But I will definitely answer any questions that you have. Those of you that are in the membership, you know we can be on Zoom as many times as you want. Ask me all the questions you want. If you have trouble getting in the membership, just let me know and I'll show you. Or Mindy. We're happy to help because our goal is to make you successful with your group piano. We want you to do well. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you to both. Bye-bye.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much. It was awesome.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks for coming.
Dorla, are you going to MTNA this year?
No.
Thank you very much. That was helpful.
What about
You're
you,
welcome.
Mindy?
I'm not going either.
Okay.
I guess you are going.
I am going. I'll be there and I'll be at NCKP.
Yeah, we're not going to either one.
Well, let me know if I can help with anything, if you need a
Thank you.
representative or whatever. So
Awesome.
You know, Mindy, that's a great idea.
We hadn't considered that, had we?
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it. Okay.
okay, let me know.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
Anna Marie.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Carol.